Good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with Karen B. It's a lovely day, a lovely cold day here in the South. It's good to see you all here. I see Cammie. Hi, Cammie. I really miss you. I want to hang out with you. I would have come seen you this weekend, except the weather was kind of crappy, and I didn't really want to leave the house. But soon, I would love to see you and give you a hug. Pimp moiled my foreskin, Tony Coriolis, Billingtano, Scrotal Xerox, Conspiracy Crypto, TC Zamman, Shifty Eye Shady, Valley Parks, hi Valley Parks, Free Ballin' Bear, Vincent Loonman, Josh Mudge, Larry, Mattia, Chicago Artist, Danny Smith. A lot is happening. Let's remember that the powers that shouldn't be just want us fighting. They don't care if it's over the shape or the nature of this realm or anything. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Shifty Eye Shady, 33 here. Lord Racer. It's everyone's favorite retard. Mental Pancake, Spicy Sarah, Mr. One-to-One, Artez, Liberalis, good to see you. Hi Dave Hinkle, Thomas Morgan, MFT, Thunder Chicken, Jim Dandy. Oh, good to see you all. Hi Chi-Chi. Divide and Conquer. That's right. That's right. That's what it's all about. Divide and conquer. That's why I stopped giving a shit what people believe anymore. But, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't care or not. Other people who do believe that stuff, they do care. Oh boy, do they care if you don't believe it. I just don't anymore. Today, I'm drinking that lovely chocolate orange coffee that you gave me, Sarah. It's so delicious. It's so delicious, I have to say. I don't care what normies think, and I don't care what flat earthers think or anybody thinks anymore. I just don't care. You know? Anyway, bunch of winkers, still patches of snow. Yeah, there's still patches of, there's like ice chunks on the back, the north side of my house, which is the back of my house. So like my back steps had ice on them, and my wonderful man of mine, Ted, went out there with the shovel and broke all the ice off of the steps so I don't break my neck going up and down the steps. Shout out to Ted. Have a good day, Artez. What brand is the coffee? It's called Life Boost. It's expensive coffee, but it's super delicious. Like that Phil Collins song, I don't care anymore. That's right. I don't care anymore. Wow. That's me. That's me, 100%. Those ice crystals were dope. Very cool. Wasn't that a trip? Dude, that was a trip. I'm telling you. I was like, whoa, dude, the little puddle made these cool column-shaped ice crystals, dude. That was so cool. I've never seen that. And then it was like hollow underneath. Another talk show you're on with TED Talk? I was actually discussing a stream I did want to do with Ted. Maybe not every week, but maybe a couple times a month. He said he was down, so I'll have to set that up. It'll be fun. Reality rocks. I should pull that up for anybody who didn't see that, because it was so cool. I post it on the gram. This is the Flat Earth Festivals one. Hold on. Isn't that a trip? It made these column-shaped ice crystals in the shape of a... Look at that triangle. Look at how perfect it is. I mean, that to me, I was just like, wow. Wow. It's crazy how it formed like column crystals. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. I love nature. And ice, yes, is a crystal. Thank you for dropping in on Lowry last night, Karen. Nathan Thompson was practically incandescent. Oh, you know, I kind of feel bad about that. I'm not gonna lie. I feel bad about that. Any commentary today on the shade Jaren threw your way on his last stream? What shade did he throw my way? Can you remind me? Because I'm not aware. What did he say? You mean on the Globebuster stream? Because I didn't finish watching that. I don't think I watched it all the way to the end because I was making food. Oh, yeah, I was living my life when I was making food. How big is that ice crystal thing? It was like as big as my hand. Man of Stone put together an interesting sunspot comp video from McKeegan's sunspot images on Ether Cosmology. Okay. Yeah, what shade did he throw my way? I felt bad for Austin on that conversation he had with Z. Ugh, I can't even listen to that guy. I really just can't. Like, I just can't. He didn't throw shade at Karen? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean... Rascal, you trying to start shit where there is none? It's not cool, dude. Why would you do that? I didn't hear anything Jaren said aimed at Karen, but he did sort of group all FE with the retards on his exit speech. Yes, Shane St. Pierre, but I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say those exact same things before, out of frustration myself. Like, I've said it too. I've been saying it longer than Jaren. Anybody who watches this show regularly would know this. I'm pretty over everybody's shit. You know, like, people are so fickle. They act very culty. And if you don't agree with their new little culty beliefs, they want to crucify you and call you a shill and controlled opposition. And in my case, I'm a witch. I'm a gatekeeping witch. You know, so it's frustrating. It was on his Unplugged stream towards the end. Well, I don't know. You know, look, I've known Jaren long enough that if he's got some shit to say to me, he'll fucking say it to my face. Because he's done it before. And likewise, like, I would say it to his face. So, whatever. Thanks, Melissa. You're pretty cool, too. So, whatever. I don't really like, you know, I don't really care about rumors. Whatever. Couldn't bear to watch the whole thing. I'm half Nephilim because I'm 6'8". Reality, Karen. Yeah, man. Reality is cool. It's mysterious and magical and beautiful and yeah, all that stuff. Hopefully you are breeding with the human females. Oh, that's funny. Jaren is just trying to figure out something he probably can't even figure out, but that's his choice. Right, dude? I believe you, Tony. And like I said, if Jaren had an issue with something regarding me, he would tell me. I have the utmost faith that if he had an issue with me, he would just say it to me directly. Whatever. People are always trying to cause division, you know, spread little he said, she said things, you know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. Can't really be arsed. It may have been a joke. We should go back to research and truth and less drama and BS. Roll up one and relax. I agree, Chicago artist. When the duff offers you a free trip to Antarctica, just know it will cost you dearly. No good deed goes unpunished. So yeah, now we can maybe focus on other things. I don't know. I'm honest. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what I want to do right now. I don't really know. I don't really know. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. Hi, Patricia. Pretty without makeup? Well, thank you. But I think it looks better on camera. Can't say hi to everyone now. Headed to the gym to meet with a personal trainer. First time. Will listen as I get ready and drive there. Personal trainer. Right on. I'm glad you're sticking around, Patricia, by the way. And we should do a stream. I was thinking I might want to do a Bitches Brew. I might want to bring back Bitches Brew. Ain't no brew like a bitch brew. I don't know what I want to do with myself. I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, man. I don't know what the fuck I want to do with myself. Alright, sweet, we'll set it up. Second the Bitches Brew, yeah. Sounds like it was a joke now that I hear it the second time. I'm sure it was. For fuck's sake, people, get out into the world, get off the screens, there is no lie in nature, go out and see for yourself. Thunder Chicken, I 100% agree with you, sir. There is no lie in nature. That's right. Like, isn't it? It's hilarious to me that people think, like, legitimately think that it's possible for anybody to fake the sun. Like, actually fake a real sun and make humans who have lived their entire lives underneath the sun, day after day, believe that something physical that a man made is the actual sun and not, and like, it, I can't, it kills me. But, you know, but believe whatever you want. Believe whatever you people want. You have issue with Hanvi or Shane model. FE Core 1.0 model didn't roll out 24-hour sun. Can't say Jaren didn't bring it on himself. Well, I guess I don't 100% know about Shane's model, so I can't really speak to that. Hanvi, like, it's interesting. This stuff is interesting. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean that that's the answer. You know, what I think that Hanvi guy needs to do is he needs to figure out how to make a sun that has identifiable sunspots on it, and then he needs to, and you know, he needs to put a little camera in like drill a hole under the model, right? And he needs to put a little camera in there under the hole so that it's looking up. It's the observer. You could probably even angle it a little bit so it's not looking directly at the light, but. And then he needs to do that, and he needs to show if the spots do the same thing in his model that it does when we observe it in real life. Like, there's things you have to do. You have to get really detailed with this stuff and get very creative. You can't just be like, oh, look, I made this light go around in a circle and down there it's going the other way. Like, you know, you can do weird stuff with light. Light is weird and it does weird things. Like, you know, that's true. But you kind of have to, you can't just make a vague thing and then expect people to extrapolate from that and then just plug the holes with their mind, you know, and start and use that and expect that as truth. How did you and Ted meet? Sorry for being nosy. Well, Ted sent me a friend request on Facebook and I accepted it. And then we started chatting. The panel thinks it's an LED sky and found a seam, probably a cam artifact in my opinion. Well, are they looking at the 360 video? Because it is video that is essentially stitched together. I remember Karen before Flattoberfest. Yeah. How would I be the parasite if I'm the one donating? Who called you a parasite? I don't think you're a parasite. Michelle's healing home would be great on Bitches Brew. Isn't that, Mario's wife? I like Mario. The sun goes around us. TFE just proves that to me. That's what I'm saying. When I saw that, that's what I'm saying. Like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, no matter where you are in the realm, the sun goes around you. That's pretty cool. It's almost, and if you use it for navigation, it's like a natural fence without there being a physical barrier. You know, because this place is so big. I mean, it's small and big at the same time, if that makes any sense. But the realm is so big that you'll never see all of it, but you can use the sky to get around and navigate on it. And no matter, it's pretty cool how it works. In my mind, I can sort of visualize how I see it working. I can't put it into words. I can't prove it. But it just makes sense to me. 5 trillion. Yes, they were looking at 360 on the Vika show. They're all convinced that it's an LED sky. Well, I don't think it's an LED sky. That doesn't really make sense. That just is silly. Now, holographic is probably not far in from the... Oh, I didn't open the phones yet, Kyle. Let me open it. I'm sorry. Me malo. All right. .360 footage has a seam. It also caused the wobbly mountain artifact. Notice it's right at the camera line. Nothing fishy, just stitching. Yeah. I don't think people understand how much barrel distortion comes in from these different types of cameras and lenses that people use to record the sky. I mean, like the floppy sun, like that's an artifact of a 360 video. But then you can see all of their solar video, the sun is a circle. 14. I would love to go outside to take moon pics. It's icy, windy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe any man-made light can compare to the sun. The sun is divine. I agree. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, I had something cool I wanted to share, and I wanted to share it here first.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
What's up?
Cool. So, I was thinking a lot lately about how it's really funny how in art, a model is the person you're painting, okay? But in science, the model is the painting itself, right? Your model is describing what you see, right? Okay, so let's take that a little bit further and think about it, okay? So your model is describing what you see. If I were to paint a picture of my wife, right, I just describe what I see. I look at her and, okay, I see an eye here, I see an eye here, okay? But no one screams at me saying, your model has to describe exactly how your wife's eyes work, right? No one says that. And so my model is not required to describe everything. There's a lot of things. I have no idea how my wife's eyes work, right? But my model is not required to explain that. And so there's a lot of things I see in the world today. I look up in the sky. I see the sun cross the sky every single day, right? The sun moves. Do I know what is causing the sun to move across the sky? No. I have no idea what's causing the sun to move across the sky. There's a lot of speculation, sure, but I have no idea what's causing the sun to move across the sky. And so, but my model is not required to explain that. All I have to do is just say, I observed the sun moving across the sky, and I can incorporate that into my model, right? But yeah, so my model is not required to explain anything. I just take things, what I observe in real life, and then I describe those things in my model. That's how models work, right? What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. What is your point? I'm not sure what you're getting at. What's the question?
Okay. So I was just wanting to hear your thoughts. I feel like this applies so much to the whole Antarctic trip in like so many ways. Like we have no idea why Jaron and everyone went and observed the things they did. You know, right?
Okay.
But that doesn't debunk my model. My model just describes that. And so if they saw a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, oh, great. Now that's part of my flat Earth model. It doesn't debunk my flat Earth model at all. It just says, okay, well, all my other observations show that the Earth is flat. So now I've got a flat Earth model that describes a 24-hour sun. How does it work? That's like for me to describe how my wife's eyes work. Okay? It's not my job to explain how my wife's eyes work. I just observe that they are there, and I document that.
Yes. I mean, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's been my big thing. I'll make a video about it later, but yeah, that's just like really strong for me right now. I'm just like, oh man, all these people just demanding, explain this to me.
There's still a lot of things that don't make sense in the globe model either. Like gas expanding in a vacuum, and how does it stick to the surface of Earth? Like that. That still is a huge sticking point. That doesn't make any freaking sense.
Yeah, there's so much that they don't understand. Even the best scientists in the world, they don't know how eyes work, right? If they knew exactly how eyes worked, they would be able to fix every single case of blindness out there. Okay, every single case of blindness that goes unfixed tells you that there's something that people don't know. Right? And it's not just that. With the globe model, there's so many things that they don't. They act like they understand everything, but they don't.
Right. Exactly.
It's just crazy to me also, like how bad it is when it comes to claiming to know everything. How many stars are out there? And yeah, sure enough, someone's going to say something. Oh yeah, we know exactly how many stars are in the universe on the globe model. Don't come up with something. I don't know. I just notice this out in textbooks all the time. Yes, the Earth is exactly this old. I'm like, what makes you think that?
Yeah,
no answer.
But they can't even agree on that though. Even that keeps changing. All of it keeps changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my rant for the day.
All right, yeah, cool.
Yeah, thanks for letting me share.
All right, thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye. Roy Cooper and Taboo. Oh, I know, Patricia. I know. We have the footage stitched and unstitched so people can see the difference. Wish people would take a look before repeating what they wish was true. I know. Models are the deception. Trying to put heavens in a lunchbox to claim intellect is literally the same lie. Not to mention countless other problems. Creation can't be compartmentalized. Like a planetarium. Yeah, his channel was changed to You Think. And I've actually watched a couple of his videos and I don't agree with it. He's wrong. Excuse me. On some stuff. I used to really like his stuff early on. And I'm not saying everything he does is bad, but there's a couple of videos that he's put out, like the one where you would be able to tell if you can tell the Earth is moving by the cameras, like how he explains it. There's a huge gaping flaw in it, and I was like, man, people just don't. I feel like people don't put the same effort into the quality of their work anymore. People used to, actually care about trying to have a real discussion. It's like now people are just lazy and they just make videos to talk shit. High altitude balloon in Antarctica. I have a boroscope camera Joe Hamby could use to get inside perspective. Here, I'll show you where he's at. Let's see. I'll even show you. Let me see if I can go look at. See, this is what his channel is called now. You Think. Yeah, he thinks they're faking it. Was it this one?
The time factor and the frame rate's telling you that this isn't 24 hours. It's not even 12 hours. Because you can't lie with the frame rate and the time factor. The whole thing about having a South Pole, the whole thing's a scam. Because it's not possible.
Well, that 24-hour footage that he was looking at was rendered at high speed by Dave McKeegan. That wasn't the correct frame rate that he was looking at. So that's wrong. And then what was the other one? This one.
This is another quick heads up before we do our final clip and we put things together. So I'm going to break things up in the process, post a video and explain a few things that when we put the video...
What was the other one he made where... Was it this one?
Well, that's what it's going to come down to. Argue.
Okay, so this one.
And
this one was wrong too, and I'll just tell you why. Oh, whoops. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Karen, it's Glenn. I'll second what you said about You Think. I think he's got some useful stuff, some maybe not, but I appreciate the work he's doing. But so that, I concur with your take on that. I was going to mention on this Alonzo dude. I saw that, I can't remember her name, but she's been with you guys forever. She just mentioned he's going to be on Sargent's show. I'll tell you what he could do. He could help us both out. Alonzo, he's got his app, his 3D app that he made, that he's selling.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to sell it, and he's trying to sell his books. Okay, and that's great. That's great. At the same time, I think comment was made about a prediction about the sun as it's seen from Antarctica that he predicted, I guess. Well, what could be a better sales point to just do a short demo, just do a little promo video from various angles, demonstrate that. And his sales would shoot through the ceiling, I would say. That would be my prediction. And at the same time, flat earthers could have something substantial to hold on to, so it's a win-win kind of a deal. So if he's going to be on Sergeant's shows, I think it was Patricia Steers, the name of the lady that she just posted in your comments there a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if he's going to be on the show, let's see it. Do it to us. We don't need to. I think he could be assured almost certainly his sales might take off. If he were just to do a short promo demonstrating how his app, that would be the biggest sales pitch of all, in my opinion. Until then, I'm not downloading his app. Also, one thing I want to point out, it's like a question of two-dimensional versus three-dimensional thinking. We flat earthers have pretty much assumed throughout that the sun is circling, and that's what the Bible says. It moves in the sky. It moves, and it's also maneuverable. In Scripture, God caused the sun to stop at one point. Okay, so it's maneuverable. Okay, and who's to say it can't increase and decrease altitude and change vector? So the assumption's always been it's flying circularly or elliptically. Okay, it might not be the case all the time. It may not be the case, and I'm not suggesting or insisting that that is the case. I'm just saying that this is an assumption that's been made. Okay, so it might not be so automated. Its path might not be as simple that has been assumed all along. So that would be one explanation to where it could maneuver in such a way that it's still visible from all known points where it should be. It appears to be, but that's just a two-dimensional representation. You don't really know where it is in space. You know what I'm saying? A three-dimensional scenario. So that's one thing I haven't heard nobody mention, but that would be an explanation. If the sun's altitude or vector trajectory, would change as it's moving, as opposed to sticking to a circular or elliptical path, like a symmetrical ellipse or a circle. You know what I mean? So that would be an explanation. Other than that, if anybody, I wouldn't mind working with somebody on their ideas about the idea I proposed about the cause of Antarctic weather and the winds, the dome's effect on the wind as it theoretically strikes it and then is forced to the ground. I wouldn't mind hearing some feedback on that if anybody has a chance to look at it or whatever. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for calling.
Okay, bye.
Bye. It's necessary to be reawakened and shaken out of the deception of more men pretending they have cartoons and predictions. It's clear many have not learned their lesson. Well, I mean, I'm not against people playing with stuff and trying to figure it out, but like that guy's book, I was looking at some of it because he freaking tagged me on Facebook with that crap. So I go and I click on it and I read the page on gravity. And he says, and he starts talking about how gravity is a theory and it's dielectric acceleration. I'm like, okay, that's good. Until he gets to the part where he says, it can only work if Earth is an infinite plane. Dielectric acceleration only works if Earth is an infinite plane. And I'm like, what? Bro, you cannot be saying stuff like that because that is not true. You're purposefully trying to force people, pigeonhole people into believing what you think Earth is. And that is just as bad as a globalist, dude. I don't like it. I don't trust people who do that. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm convinced military-industrial complex has a legit non-projection map. It's just not available to the plebes yet. Yeah, it's called the WGS 1986 or something. Bob used to talk about it all the time. I like Marty Leeds. Yeah, I watched Marty's stream on Sunday. I liked it too. It was good. I enjoy Marty's stuff quite a bit. All right, anyway.
Listen, the ball, Earth's rotation and axis motion. So let's illustrate a point here. What must happen? If you have two cameras, right? You and your buddy, and you're on a rotating platform. You want to film this ball for 24 hours. What must happen? You can't avoid it.
Man, I want to talk about this. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen. This is Ice Cube. Do you remember me?
Yes.
So, yeah, I called in twice before, 2 weeks ago, and last week it was really short. And, yeah, I just want to say I feel a little bit, on one hand, a little bit weird about calling to your show, because what I showed you 2 weeks ago, it was actually a response to Nathan Oakley, right? With the metabunk.org article. And so I feel actually a little bit ridiculous for asking you about it. But I went on Oakley's show, in episode 2257, and I brought it up with him. So I've been able to discuss it with him. But
Yeah,
if I have to be honest, I did I wasn't sure for a long time if I wanted to go on that show. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he's very abusive.
Yeah, he gets very upset about it. Yeah, so for a long time I didn't really know if I should even try to bring it up with them. But then after calling into your show, I was like, what am I doing? You know, I should just go there, you know, and ask them about it. Yeah. But and I also checked out Globebusters, because last week when I called in, you mentioned Globebusters.
Yes.
And Alan.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Alan. One of the things he mentioned was that spherical axis in triangles. But one of the things he said that you can only measure that spherical axis in reference to the stars. And I would like to point out that Snell, you know, from Snell's Law, he wrote a book, Eratosthenes Batavus. Now the full name is longer, but it starts with Eratosthenes Batavus, and he poses as like the Dutch Eratosthenes, or yeah, it's in honor of Eratosthenes that he does that, I think. He also measured a large network of triangles in the Netherlands, And he does find triangles with spherical axes, and that's not in reference to the stars. That is using church towers in the Netherlands. So I always joke about this because I live in one of the flattest countries on earth, but because of Snell and the history of this town, it's very hard to be a flat earther. We have not had any flat earthers in this town, very few flat earthers in this town since 1617.
What town is that? Where are you at?
It's Leiden in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
And because of Snell, it's always been a top globe bulwark, I would say. Can you imagine?
It's been a what now?
It's a top globe town. Like everybody here more or less believes in the globe.
Oh.
And if you try to bring up flat Earth in public, and it goes on for too long, you will be convicted to visit the Boerhaven Museum, where they show you the physical equipment that Snell used, a huge quadrant with a radius of 2 meters that he used to do his measurements. And they will tell you the whole story. And then what follows is, a struggle session where you will be kindly nudged into keeping that stuff on Facebook.
Huh. Okay. Is that it?
Right. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I think so. I think Alan didn't read Eratosthenes de Bavus if he says that it can only be done in reference to the stars. So maybe he should check up on that.
Okay. Well, we can pass it along.
Right. So how's your show going so far today? Because I'm only just checking in now. I came back from some other Discord server. I'm trying to sort of reach out to flat earthers, ask questions, because I am interested in this.
Well, it's going fine. We're just talking about stuff. Just talk about whatever comes up.
So am I the first caller, or did anyone call in before me?
No, somebody else called in. Kyle called in. Yeah.
So maybe one thing that I should also explain to you is how I ended up on metabank.org. Because 2 weeks ago when I mentioned it, you were a little bit, you reacted to it by saying Midwest, right? And I kind of feel like I want to explain, because I can imagine for anyone who believes in a lot of conspiracy theories that metabank.org it may sound a little bit scary, but I figured if someone is interested in, a level-headed explanation, at the other side of the story of a juicy conspiracy, they may end up there, because that's how I ended up there. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Nick West is, for instance, I like what he does with identifying things that were seen in the sky, and explain to me there's no scary aliens. On one hand, I like scary stories about aliens, but then I also like Nick West to tell me there are no scary monsters in the sky or under my bed. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up on Metabank. But I'm kind of afraid that it scares people off a little bit if they believe in flat Earth to actually visit that website and look at the other side of the arguments.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just wanted to explain that I'm not Mick West. I didn't. Mick West didn't write that article. I wrote it, and I'm curious to see, if flat earthers have an explanation for it. Because what I do is I measure 12 distances, and I do some addition to find 6 distances between 4 points that are all equal in the celestial coordinate system. Which means there are 4 places on Earth with equal distances between them, which I can't put that on a flat map. And the thing is, a flat map would make the whole flat Earth thing so much more plausible for me. So that's why I try to do it. If it's based on flat Earth, then I should be able to, dig down in the numbers and figure out if it's based on a flat system or not.
So, what are you talking about doing? You took four points with equal distances from each other?
Right. So the claim I responded to, it's very specific, right? It says celestial navigation is based on elevation angles from a flat Earth. And they use this formula for calculating the distance to the substellar point of a star that's used in celestial navigation. And they explain, okay, this is how it works. But if I use that formula, the nice thing about knowledge is it has practical application. And so if I use that formula to figure out the underlying geometry, I find something else, that it's not based on a flat Earth, but on a spherical coordinate system. And I can show that there are 4 points in the system that all have the same distance to each other based on star positions, that Oakley says it works that way. So that's kind of the paradox I found. And I noticed that in flat Earth content, paradoxes are used quite extensively to make a point, which I actually appreciate. I like that style of making a point. So that's why I chose to do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, it is sort of a paradox, because when you look at the sky, it makes you think it's spherical, but then when you look at Earth itself, it measures flat, and you can see for very, very, very long distances in many cases that you shouldn't be able to see if Earth was actually a ball the size and shape that they say it is. Like, there should be a physical limit to what you should see, and it should be consistent everywhere, but it's not. It's really weird.
Right.
So, yeah. Also, Shane St. Pierre, I think, put a link in here. He says he's responding to something you said about geodesic survey.
Transcontinental triangulation and American arc of... Oh, that's interesting, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, I always say to people, if it works for you, keep it flat. I'm not against anyone believing what they believe. But I try to figure out, I also said to Oakley, what I wrote was a result of taking very seriously what was being said and providing a very factual response to that. And I purposefully left out all the negativity. That's why I had to write it down, so that I can leave all of that out, because I understand that doesn't work. Jaron said that in one of his recent live stream. There is no Glober who says, I used to believe flat Earth, and then Toon called me retarded, and now I believe it's a globe. And I think that is an excellent observation by Jaron. I believe that is accurate, and so that's why I had to write it down, and I purposefully left out all the negativity, right? Because that doesn't work. And I tried to bring it up with Oakley, but he's getting very angry, and I don't think that he will ever give like a written response.
Yeah, probably not. So how did that go when you did go on Nathan's show? Did he yell at you?
It was very much like I expected. Of course, I've seen the show, so I kind of know how it works. I kind of know what my role is. I'm a globling there, and I get to poke around a little bit, and then Nathan starts yelling eventually if I start making too much sense, and then, I don't get a word in. Well, it's very hard to get a word in, and if I say the word if, then it's already, he already jumps on me. So, he doesn't like it when, you just said if Earth is a globe, and it doesn't offend me in any way. But when I say if Earth is flat, that is, for him, very offensive in a way. And, so it's hard to actually keep the conversation going. I did have better conversations with some of his members who asked me some questions, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a very difficult conversation, definitely. And it is hard to, keep your cool and not get angry and leave out the negativity, especially if you're not, writing things down, but if you're talking, in a live conversation. And that can be very difficult.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's about what I had to say. Thank you for letting me call in again. Hey, Winston is also in the chat. Hi, Winston.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for allowing me to call in again, and have a good show.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Beth. It's good to see you. And Witsit. Has there ever been a map that accurately portrays this realm? Is it even remotely possible? There is an episode of the series The West Wing that is about accurate maps. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's different. Your conversation with Satetic Warrior is fantastic. I hope you realize that your boy Jaren is inauthentic, to say the least. Yeah, I agree, RT, about the Rising Earth gang. Yeah, it's ridiculous. How do you guys even stand listening to that Z guy? Like, seriously, how do you even tolerate it? I just can't. Just give me the Cliff's Notes. Jaren has abandoned FE. Well, Jaren said he gave his whole spiel about how he feels about everything on the last Globebusters show. The first part of the stream is him going through and explaining how he's leaving the Globebusters show, and it's going to be Alan and Witsit and Zach, and I don't know if Shane's going to be on there every Sunday or not. You can let me know in the chat if you are, but anyway, it's going to be them, and Jaren feels like because he doesn't understand what's going on, that he doesn't have any business teaching people that the earth is flat. I can 100% respect that. I respect that. And I kind of get what he's saying. And, you know, like I said this before, man, I learned a long time ago that sky observations match the globe. Literally, sky observations match the globe. That's how the globe was even conceived. right? But when you measure the Earth, every treatment of everything that we do upon the face of the Earth, the globe is not taken into account. Everything is a flat, non-rotating Earth. There's no Coriolis. There's no motion. You know, planes don't account for curvature when they're flying over the Earth. You know, and it's kind of crazy how terrestrially it seems the Earth is flat, but then if you look at the sky, you can extrapolate from those observations that the Earth is a globe. It's just weird. It's weird. This place is freaking weird. And I get why people say that it's a simulation, although I don't believe it is a simulation. I get why people say it. Just a regular guest for now. Big things in 2025 regardless. Yeah, I'm looking forward to to the things that you go on with it and whatever you do. I will be interested in listening to. I don't really care to listen to anything with Z in it though. I really just don't. No rim velocity, right? Did I see Dubé's video about the shadows? No, I don't watch Eric Dubé. I don't watch his garbage. I'm simulating right now. No. I find Z and Nachi entertaining. It's hilarious when they argue against spinning ball Earth fallacy, yet reinforce upward rising Earth nonsense. Yeah, I know. Dude, in the YouTube world is a dumpster fire. Jaron said that he could walk to the South Pole without a compass and that he had evidence of a ball. Well, I only went in there to address misrepresentations and have Jaron's back. Yeah, good for you, it's it. I admire your patience, friend. I admire it. I don't have any. Bob was a huge loss, Jaron is a loss, but Morgal not so much a loss. Well, you know, Morgal was smart. He was good about stuff, but yeah, he really went down a very dark and not so great path. The cheat codes are acceptance, gratitude, hard work, and self-discipline. Jaron calling people retarded and defending him is nasty work. Let that man fight his own battles. So, thousands versus one is a fair fight to you? I would disagree. Why are we picking on Jaron? Don't you think you've had enough? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thousands of people piling up on Jaron just for being honest about what he saw and did. It's messed up, man. It's messed up. How did Whitson and Jaron resist the urge to push Magoon into the ocean? Yeah, how did you resist the urge to push him down a crevasse? -3 effed up world? Wow. Anyway, should I go back to this? Do you guys care about why you think his videos are incorrect? Like, you know, it's funny because I actually started this out. Some of my first videos were debunking flat earthers. I guess I'm going to go back to debunking flat earthers.
What must happen? You can't avoid it. Your buddy on the right hand side would rotate in front of you. After 6 hours now, he'll
See
be
how
on your
both of these
left-hand
cameras are
side.
moving because they're
After
following
another 6 hours, you'd be in front of him and he would
following
be
the
behind
sun.
you.
They should
And
be
6 hours
following the
later,
sun.
he'd be back on your
But they're
right-hand
not.
side.
They don't rotate. Cameras sit on
So
an
this would be
equatorial
evidence.
mount and they follow the sun.
This is what we want to see. Right? He's just a circus clown. He's a dumbass. Right? There's a winter solstice. At the same time, rotating. He's not dealing with the real issues. He's a clown. Right. So if the Earth's not rotating, and you got two cameras, you and your buddy, you're filming there, right, for 24 hours. If the ball orbits in a circle around you, well, there won't be this motion. He can't move in front of you, and you can't move in front of
Do
him.
you guys see how he's trying to model this and it doesn't even match what we're talking about? First of all, the sun, his little beach ball is supposed to be the sun, and it's going in a circle in front of both of the cameras, but that's not what they say happens. The little ball should be going around both of the cameras, with the cameras being inside the circle, not outside observers of the small circle. And the cameras would again be on equatorial mounts following the sun. So his little model here is a completely incorrect representation of the argument. It's a video he made. He made a straw man argument video. He's arguing against something that isn't even a claim. And it's just frustrating, dude. This is the type of stuff that we're dealing with now. And I don't want to be, and this is why, like, I agree with Jaron. I don't want to be on a team that does that. That, like, it's intellectually dishonest, or it's like blatantly like negligent. Like, are you even thinking about what you're doing, dude? You know what I'm saying? All I know about the world is that it's my oyster. There you go. Karen B, you know how so many people have auto-hoaxed the final experiment and look completely ridiculous? I say the same about the aerospace industry. FE auto-hoaxes legit stuff. I mean, I think they really put rockets in the air. I just don't think they go to space. How do the cameras taking sun photos function specifically when the sun releases flares? If anyone knows, thanks. What do you mean? Lord Racer, you have to explain to me how you think that Antarctica was fake, because there's literally zero evidence that the Antarctica trip is fake. You're just saying it's fake. Like, you're just saying stuff. How is it fake? Where's the proof that it was fake? There's like dozens of videos from dozens of points of perspective and they all match. So how is it fake? Over at Ether Cause, we have taken satellites back. Their physics and equations use real inertial forces that are generated by a rotating universe. Patricia, I don't even know. Like, the very first time I ever saw that guy on a stream, he was telling people they should kill themselves. They were literally having streams where they were just telling people to kill themselves. And it wasn't a joke. So, I never thought he was okay, like, ever. Darth Vapor? That is not an argument. That is not proof that the Antarctica trip was fake. That is just culty rhetoric. School indoctrinated us on a tilting Earth to make a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Since Polaris doesn't move, this proves the Earth doesn't tilt. And I do trust Witsit because I know Witsit personally. I've met him in real life multiple times. I've had him in my home. I've met his wife. He has never ever given me any reason to ever think that he would be dishonest or is dishonest. He's never given me a reason not to trust him. He has only ever confirmed that he can be trusted in all the experiences that I've had with Witsit. Like, I mean, he's a friend in real life. So you guys are like, you were just going to trust Witsit? Well, yeah. Why wouldn't I trust my friend that I know in real life and have known for years? Why wouldn't I? He's never given me a reason not to. That doesn't mean that you guys have to, but also you guys shouldn't begrudge me for doing that because there's no reason for me not to. Same with Jaren. They have never ever given me a reason not to trust them. I don't agree with everything they say or do, but they've never given me a reason to think that they are dishonest in any way, shape, or form. I will stop trusting Witsit the second he shows me he is untrustworthy. Exactly! This is what I'm saying. I don't have a reason not to. And everybody acts like nobody in the world ever saw a 24-hour sun before this trip. Like, this has been a documented thing. This has been a known thing. It's not new. It's not like all of a sudden there's this brand new phenomena in the South called the 24-hour sun. This is not new. This has been observed forever, for eons. So this isn't a new thing. I don't understand why people think it's fake. I legitimately don't understand it. I can see why you'd be upset because, and Jaren even admitted this, or he mentioned this when he was talking about it. He said, he was saying that all the 24-hour sun footage was fake and it looked all sussy. And so he was thinking that it wasn't there and, and he was wrong. Okay. But maybe you guys should have, I don't know, thought about that before. Maybe don't believe, why are you believing everything one person says anyway? Like, it's cool, like, you can listen to all these people and not just agree with everything they say or take everything as 100% truth. I mean, the truth is nobody knows shit. Take my wrench. He lied multiple times. Who lied? Alright, I'll take it. I mean, whatever. Whatever. It's cool. I'm sorry to see you go over that stuff, but so be it. Whatever. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. This is the XO. How you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. It's been a while since we spoke. The last time I think you were with Mark, about 4 or 5 years ago. You'll start to remember me as we speak. I was trying to tell you about some issues with the flat Earth and how the Earth isn't flat, but I don't believe in a ball. I don't believe in the outer space deception. And you and Mark were having a hard time. You're looking at me like deer in the headlights kind of thing. And at the time, I couldn't tell you about the personalities of people in the flat Earth culture. It was in 2017 when I realized that things were not what they seemed, so to speak. And that's when we made our channel called Blood Always Finds Its Level. So you saw me in chat earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now, hindsight, after what's happened now, I think that you'll have a much better understanding of what's going on, and I can already tell that you do, by the way that you're, taking this all in. And the crazy thing about this, Karen, is that this isn't the type of thing that you can just digest in a few weeks. People were experiencing things for several years, a decade now, and a lot of people's lives were basically shattered, for lack of a better term. And that doesn't just settle overnight and like, oh, you're okay in a few weeks or even a few months. And a lot of people aren't realizing how big of a deal this is,
Mm-hmm.
But how do I say this without being too abrasive? Like I was trying to tell you a few years ago, and you don't have to agree with me. It's actually great that you don't, because it'll give us much better conversation in the future. I just think you're now going to be able to actually talk to me about these things. But the flat earth is part of the same deception, Karen. Not in the sense that it's completely wrong in every single way, but that's just kind of like the church, right? Like the Catholic Church does good things, Karen, and they send people to prison. They wake people up out of atheism and bad habits, and life events change. But when the Catholic Church, sends its missionaries out to do that, that's a great thing, but it doesn't mean that the Catholic Church is the good, right? So, or is the truth. It doesn't mean that the Catholic Church is not an obvious deception, is my point. And now that I've seen that I remember like years ago, I don't remember you ever talking about the Bible. And I just noticed like a week ago or just a few days ago, you were doing Bible study. I was like, wait a minute, you're doing Bible study. I gotta see how you're doing. So that's actually why I'm calling in. That's why you noticed me. So, things have changed, and I hope I'm not rambling too much. I don't want to say too much, but, the flat earth is what has literally powered their deception. It doesn't mean that you were wrong for disagreeing with them. It means that people were deceived again. And I'll be honest with you, I've known Whitsitt for years, and he knows me. And I got news for the crowd in your chat. He absolutely went there, and everything they did was real. And I've been a photographer for over 20 years, and I've seen not a single issue with anything they did, and I never even cared to worry about it anyway. Even if it was fake, why would you care? People do not have enough confidence, I think, in God. Nothing they did was shady at all. I mean, I knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that things weren't going to go in the direction the way that flat earthers wanted to, because they were set up. And it's not like there's like a conspiracy where men meet up, Karen, and have cigars in dark rooms and that kind of thing. The conspiracy happens in the spiritual world. That would be Ephesians 6:12 off my memory. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. Mm-hmm. And haven't you ever noticed, like when you talk to people, sometimes they always have the same reaction or same answers, and it seems like you're talking to robots? Yep. That's because you're dealing, with the spirit world. And that's what we're going up against. It's not like there's not like 150 people that you've talked to in the past 10 years that all reacted the same and conspired about it, right?
Right.
No, they have the same reaction. They are bred with the same lies. They have the same emotions because they've delved into something. They put their heart into something. They put their confidence in the men. And if you've noticed, obviously my complaining in the chat, and I apologize for doing that, my complaint is that people are putting their confidence in men again. And I would say that for many, and Patricia Steer actually knows me. I met her in 2016 and helped her. And when Antonio Subras was around, I showed them my backyard. I built a 21-foot wide Stargate. At the time, I called it an AE map. Back then when that was cool, 8 years ago. But men have deceived us. Again, and in 2016, 2017, I wasn't happy with the fact that they kept telling me we don't need the Bible. Karen, everywhere I went, they would tell me, well, we don't need the Bible, that we're not talking about that. We're talking about this, that, other science. We only want to do this. And they wouldn't even let me talk about other things, or they were very myopic. They were very kind of like one-dimensional. And then, of course, because I'll admit, I'm kind of an immature guy. I'll never grow up. I'm a child of God, so I can be abrasive myself, and I would always get into fights with these people, so I'd always end up getting kicked out of every single place that I went. But the benefit, Karen, of that is that when we go through those hardships, we end up usually turning to God. So the blessing of that was that I kept going back to the Bible, like, wait a minute, what else is here? Let me see what's going on. So that ended up being the greatest thing for me, was to get that reality check that I wasn't going to be everybody's best friend. And I kept getting back to the Bible, and that's what set me on this different, I guess, destiny of realizing, wait a minute, the flat earth is not what we thought it was. In fact, it's actually part of the same deception, and I'm not going to be able to explain all of those things right now, for sure, to you. I definitely answer literally everybody's questions later about this, because we tried this 4 years ago. It was way too early. But as you've noticed now, we haven't even been a month away from it. Hasn't even been a month yet, and people haven't landed. I've noticed some of the people that went, and I'll just say Lisbeth is very real. She absolutely went. She's not a psyop artist. I met her a few months ago, right before she went. These people are very real, and the thing was that they're not deceivers, guys. They were deceived. We've all been deceived. It happens because, well, we're here on earth, and we look up to the Shamayim, as we call it in Hebrew, the heavens, and we go, wow. And then the person next to us says, oh, well, I'm really smart. I know how that works. So we automatically feel like, oh, we should also have an answer. And we try to meet them where they're at, Karen. And that's the mistake. We're trying to answer the secular system with the same secular regurgitation, thinking that there's going to be a natural way of explaining the heavens. How many places do you know, Karen, where there's this emanating immense infinity light that goes around in circles? There's not many. That's not very natural, actually. If we think about that, that's very supernatural. The heavens are not to be compared to earth, right? Jesus tells us, if I tell you of earthly things that you can't comprehend, how can I tell you of heavenly things? And what have people been doing the last 5 years? Oh, no, we got it. We'll figure this out, Karen. Just trust me. I'm going to get you a model in 5 minutes. And I'll say we believed that for a certain amount of time. And eventually, all of us, many years from now, when we're out of this creation on top of the earth and everything's changed, we're going to look back and go, wow, we were way dumber than we thought we were. And it turns out that, this creation was way more advanced than we thought we could ever, imagine. And that's what when I built that Stargate thing about 8-9 years ago, that's what I did. Every night I went out. It was like a party back then, if you remember. And every night I would just go out. I was just some, punk at the time. I just wanted to have fun and mingle, right? And I would go out every night and walk around this 21-foot little circle. And I would look at the stars and go, wow. And eventually, 2-3 weeks in, a few months in, I'd have tears running down my face going, I cannot believe how beautiful this is, how amazing. I never was going to try to model it. That's not what God wants us to do. He doesn't want us to try to model his shamayim, which in the Hebrew means water over there. The word ma'im in Hebrew means water, and shama means there. Shamayim means water over there. And as soon as we delve into that, we think about things, a little bit differently, because we have the firmament, right? We have the ma'im above the firmament, which separated the waters from below the firmament, right? And then we have Exodus 20, the law. This is kind of a big deal, Karen. And if you're in a hurry, I'll get out of your way here. I don't want to be here too much longer. It's almost been 10 minutes, and that's like an eternity talking to me. So, but in Exodus 24, it says, you shall not make any graven images of anything of any likeness in the shamayim above, or the earth beneath, or the water under the earth. And that's actually if you think about it, which it took me 3 years and about 3,000 readings of that, what am I missing here? And I'll just tell you, it's the blueprint or red print of creation, heaven above, earth beneath, and water under the earth. So you see the 3 tiers there that Elohim gives us, the 1, 2, 3. Heaven above, earth beneath, right? And then, of course, you go to Psalms, and it says the sun goes from one end of the heaven to the rest. That doesn't mean we can see it and understand it. But when God says it goes from one end of the heaven to the other, that's when we say, yes, sir. And we don't say, oh, well, wait a minute, Lord, how does it do that exactly? And can you make a model of that and bring it down to me? Or I don't know if I can trust you. Could you imagine? Could you imagine how stupid we're going to feel when we go up to him and go, listen, Lord, I was just kidding about that. That's what I'm going to be saying. I'm going to be saying, I am so sorry. Let me put my face in the dirt, and I'm going to eat earth. That's what I'm going to not be a flat earther. I'm going to be an earth eater, because I'll feel so stupid. Now, and this entire time, we were pretending that we were smart, and we did. Listen, it was a party for a long time, Karen. It was. But guess what? I'm going to tell you something right now. you're going to realize that maybe in a few months, maybe a year, that you're going to be not only better off because of this, just like you had to break up with I'm sure you had an old boyfriend or husband in your past that you had to leave, and you realize that later on you were much better without that person. That's what this is going to be like. And you're going to be thanking God that this happened someday, because you're going to not only be in a much better position spiritually, you're going to be next to Him. You're going to be talking to Him more. You're going to be we all are turning to Him more now for one reason or another. Maybe I'm a little bit ahead. I try to get ahead of the game. But it's all in His will, Karen, and He actually has to allow these things for a reason. We can't understand Him when, the proverb says that good and evil are for His glory, basically. So even the bad things He has to do to us for a reason, right? Or how else are we going to be proved anyway, right? But you also have to realize now that the flat earthers, and I hate to admit this but I've never talked to Jaron. I'm going to give Jaron 100% free slate with me, even though I've been a little critiqued of him in the past, and I have been upset with some of the things he has said about obviously the Bible. I'm going to let that go because he's never met me and I haven't talked to him. Maybe I just assume I change his mind, but I'm going to say that Jaron's actually more right now in agreement with me than he ever has been. Because now he is seeing what I've been putting up with 9 years, Karen. I've been putting up with this hate for 9 years, saying, no, it's about the Word of God. It's about the Devarim. It's about the Bereshit to Revelation. And I've been getting slammed, banned, muted, fired, kicked out, death threats. And I'm not kidding. This is true. And now I see Jaron I'm like, you know what? This isn't that bad. I'm just eating popcorn. Hey, now literally, I'm like, gosh, when am I thinking, Lord, should I talk to Jaron now? Because, I thought I'd never talk to this guy, but actually now might be the right time, because we're at that moment, when the iron's hot, that's when we should strike. But I want you to know there's really nothing to worry about. And in fact, I'm a photographer, and I'm going to show you my evidence in the near future when we talk again. But the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof the world, and they that dwell therein. For He hath founded it upon the seas and established it on the floods. And I'm going to give you a real big secret now that you may have never heard. That means the earth is not holding the water of creation at all. That means this idea about an ice wall and the earth is a container. No. The firmament's above. That's another thing. By the way, we're not a closed system. I'll explain that later. That means the waters are holding the earth, Karen. And that's what the scripture tells us. So this entire time, everybody's missed the boat. Nobody realized, and remember what I told you earlier, Exodus 24, the heavens above, earth beneath, and what did I say was underneath the earth? Mm-hmm. The waters are underneath the earth, Karen. So if there's water under the earth, as it states in Exodus 20, by the way, the Exodus 20 is a big deal. You know why?
Why?
Because it's the only part of the Bible written by the hand of God, as it's told to us. It's the law. Exodus 24 states. So this is a hand of God. Might be important. Might be a big deal. God is giving us the blueprints of creation. He says at the very bottom, which is reiterated in Genesis 1, which I'll tell you because you want to know now. But it says waters under the earth. If I go back to the very first page of the Bible, it says in the beginning. So, okay, we're all on the same page. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So heavens was first. That means, what does heaven mean again? Water over there. So the waters were always first. Okay, good. Glad we got that figured out finally. Okay, after 10 years. So the heavens and the earth, right, were made. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. Well, that's very confusing, and people don't know what that means still, of course. No, that means actually the earth doesn't exist yet, because it wasn't actually formed until day 3. It says, how do I know it wasn't formed yet? Because it says it was without form. It wasn't formed yet till day 3. So then it says, and the spirit, the ruach of Elohim, moved upon the face of the waters. But before that it said darkness. Darkness was on the face of the deep. And the reason it's called deep, Karen, guess why?
Because of water.
You got it. You're already there.
I know. I've been doing scripture study for a few years now. For a couple,
Amen.
2-3
Good
years.
For you.
Yeah. So,
amen. I didn't notice that for you. 4 years ago, we were in a different world. You were not the same. And you've been making some good changes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm always learning. But, yeah, Genesis is one of my favorite books. I've read it a bunch.
Well, good. That's excellent. Well, you know what? I've taken up too much time. You've let me speak 3 times more than the average person ever would. So I've extended my stay. But there's a lot more to talk about. That's the greatest thing about this, Karen, I'm telling you right now, because I see I see the emotions out there with a lot of people, and they're warranted. That's you. Everything you've actually listen. You've been right about yourself when it comes to this matter. We have been. I don't want to be mean. We've all been wrong, but we've counted on men too much, and you've already turned your ways. That's what we should all be doing. We should all be reading the Bible more. And now, I got to be honest with you. That's, if you notice, that's what Nathan's problem is. He never reads the Bible, and look how he acts. And I've known him for 10 years. Can't talk to him, though. Known him for 10 years, can't talk to him because he won't read the Bible, so he can't clean up his act. And I like him. I mean, I get along with him in person, I'm sure. But everybody's got the same problem, and it's that we think we can find a solution when God, Elohim Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the guardian of the gates of Israel, our Lion of Yehuda, our Savior, our Mashiach, our Lord and Savior, he is the one that has already told us what the truth was. And it's been in this book the whole time, Karen. The entire time it's been right in front of us. And you know what the Flat Earth told me for 8 years? We don't need that. So guess what? The bad news is Flat Earth is the same deception. The good news is Flat Earth is the same deception. And now you're going to elevate past that. And now it turns out that not only were you actually still right, that they lied to you about everything, now you get to learn a lot more with new eyes, with goggles. And you can see things very differently now because you've been blessed with that reality check that just happened last month that a lot of people needed. And yes, guess what? It was the biggest hit to the so-called conspiracy, whatever, truth movement that they've ever had. I've never seen anything like this. Millions of views, complaints, so much rage quitting, hate out the gate. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And guess what? That was supposed to happen. Baruch Hashem Adonai Elohim. God gets all the glory. Even the wars that happen, God allows for a reason. And if people don't give him the glory, that's what he does, Karen. He has to slap a few people sometimes really hard. And that's what happened. And hopefully I can speak to Jaron in the near future. And I saw Whitsitt out there earlier, and hopefully I can speak to him too. For some reason, the Ether Cosmologist channel, I don't know what happened. It must have been a flick of the key, but I was recently banned from their server. Don't know what happened, but we'll see if I can get back in there later and help the kids out. But I appreciate your time, Karen, and hopefully I can talk to you in the near future. And thanks for letting me rant. And I just want you to know that you're fine, and don't worry. You're going to actually start now excelling and doing a lot more things in the right direction. I can already tell.
All right. Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Amen. God bless and Baruch Hashem. I'll see you.
Does he mean beer goggles? No. The Apostle Paul said that the truth would be given and some would receive it and then they would deny it and that they would be damned because of it. Order out of chaos. All the creation stories have this idea in common except Vedic cosmology. That one is pretty neat. I burnt my Bible, good riddance. Ivan Panin's work proves man couldn't have written scripture, and the prophecies prove the author is outside of time. Everything has a cycle, and every cycle has the same pattern within its cycle, which means every cycle ends with the dark and then repeats with slight difference each time it completes. Did anybody, the caller of the Holy Bible is written and interpreted by men, not God. Yeah, I was actually watching a video of a historian. Are you guys familiar with that guy? That guy Billy Carson. He's like the forbidden knowledge guy that is like the craw in Archaix's side. It's just hilarious, that whole side story. But anyway, this guy, he talks about, ancient alien whatever. Not even 100% sure what he says, but he talks about anyway. He was debating some guy who was like a Bible historian, and the guy was talking about, he was like, so give me a rundown. And so Billy Carson starts talking about referencing these two texts on why he thinks XYZ. And the guy's like, well, first of all, and he just goes through this whole spiel about how the texts are forgeries, and he knows they're forgeries because of blah blah blah. And he's like, "How do you, what process do you go through to sort of verify the validity of the text that you reference and base your opinions on?" And he couldn't answer it. NC is full of Bigfoots. Have you had any encounters? Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, I actually have a Bigfoot playlist on my channel. But it's just funny because I think that's most people don't care about verifying, the validity of the data that they look at. They just care about making some cool story and getting a bunch of clicks and creating a cult-like following around this cool story that they're making up. And I see it happen time and time again. And it's why I've become disillusioned with this community over the last couple of years. Those asking same old questions that Witsit answered in interviews, why don't you watch those before asking the same question 1,000 times in chat? His point is that most of Flat Earth also objectified the Earth and tried to undermine creation by slapping a model on it when we can't know the dimensions and Earth just means land within water. Yeah. It was Effie that brought me to the beauty of creation. I agree, Cammy. Same. 100% the same. You addressed every question that you asked about Vapegate. Yeah. And I don't even claim Christianity before Effie never touched the Bible. Well, there are things, if once you start reading it though, it's a very interesting book. A lot can be learned from it, and I don't really want to argue with anybody about whether it's the word of God or whether it's 100% true or not. I don't want to argue with people over their beliefs. It's pointless. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey Karen, this is Plain and Simple. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, how's it going this morning?
All right. What's up?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to call in and say a few things, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I won't know until you say it, I guess.
Well, I'm not here to start anything. The first off I wanted to say is, I've supported you, supported Jaron, supported Witsit for many years now. I've been to your events. I've met most of these people here that are in your chats in person. I helped you out personally several times. You know what I'm talking about. And, I just wanted to address a couple things that's going on here. I did not want any of this infighting. Again, I came to these events to meet people and have a good time and to, be part of the community. But what's going on right now is the same thing that I said months ago that was going to go on. And you even called me a fortune teller and all this stuff in your chat, trying to call me out. And it played out exactly like I said.
I don't remember that. What did you say?
I told you that the hit pieces would be coming out from Jaron right away, which they did, of course, which, you know as well as I do, you have to allow people to use your likeness. You can't just have people taking pictures of you and putting on articles about you, right? So let's go back to the beginning of the whole thing, because I think this is where we all got off on the wrong foot. Many of you guys are claiming that, Jaron just going there and this and that, and, he sees what he sees. But that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is, if you want to go back and look, Jaron claimed clear as day many times that if he sees the circling sun, which we all knew was going to happen, they were never going to let these guys go down there. and prove the flat earth. Let's be honest with ourselves. And Jaron claims that if he sees the 24-hour sun, the earth cannot be flat. He's been saying that for over 6 months now, okay? So all these people in the chat want to say this, that, and the other. Go back and listen to what Jaron said.
I remember him saying that. I know he said that.
Yeah, and so what I'm saying is, not only that, people tried to call him out and correct him and say, look, the problem is people don't have the problem that everybody's saying that, it's the observation that people can't take. That's not the truth. The truth is we can't take the gaslighting and the nonsense from that. Jaron would have just came out and said from the very beginning, which I said, hey guys, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to check out, see what I see. We'll come back and we'll analyze the data and we'll go from there. But that's not the claim that was made. That was not his position. Okay. He called everybody a phoenix who doesn't believe in the sun, proving the shape of the ground we live on, including you, Karen, because I've heard you say the same thing, and the same thing Whitsitt said, the same thing Weiss said, and the same thing many others have said, that the sun will not prove the ground we live on. Okay, so why isn't he calling you a phoenix? Or why aren't you getting upset? Because you are now lumped in with the phoenixes. This is the gaslighting that's going on. Okay, I asked Whitsitt, and he's welcome to come on and address me. I asked Whitsitt in the chat. He claimed that he did not want to be seen on camera vaping because everybody looks up to him. So that's why he ducked down, okay? But then he was in Jaron's chat, the Jaronism FU chat the other night, and I have it screenshotted, right? So he claims in that chat that he knew that cameras were on him all the time. So that's a discrepancy right there. Why can't we address that discrepancy? Everybody's claiming, oh yeah, vaping's been addressed, blah, blah, blah. Why can't we address some of these fallacious claims? Again, I did not want any of this. Nobody wanted this.
I want to know why the vape even freaking matters. Does the vape mean that Australia, that Antarctica was fake? He's obviously being deceptive about it. And many have said, like, why did, if you did vape, you did, just come out and admit it. He did.
Just say it. But he didn't. He didn't. He's claiming now that he knew he did it.
Why are you raising your voice at me?
Sorry. All right. So he's claiming that he knew now that there were cameras on him all the time. If you understand that there's cameras on you all the time, why would you duck down? Why? I mean, this is
probably so it's not right. Probably so because he was live streaming and he didn't want it like right in his face, like up close. Like, I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Like it actually happened on his live stream where he blew it out and said, "Yeah, what's up now?" Again, I go back to that claim. If you claim, first of all, that it was because of water, and you were there to prove to everybody that this is indeed because of water, just bring your glass of water out and show everybody. And then you can say, what's up now, like 5 times. Drink 5 sips of water and say, what's up now? What's up now? Right? I mean, it's pretty simple. We're here to experiment and test things. So if he's there to prove a claim that it's indeed because of water, all he would have to do is bring his water out.
This is so stupid. It's stupid.
It's not stupid, and it's not retarded. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's not stupid and retarded. You said it.
You guys get hung up on this stupid vaping thing like as if that makes the whole trip fake. It doesn't. It doesn't change what the sun does. It doesn't change where they went. It doesn't change anything. But why are you hyper-focused on the stupid vape thing? What is the point?
I actually called to address many other things. But
that's all you're talking about, though.
If you listen to me, I started out by claiming about Jaron's claims, right? That's what really started.
What about Jaron's claim? Okay, so
that we would all that anybody who disagrees that if we see the 24-hour sun, the Earth cannot be flat. That's the claim Jaron made.
Okay. I never agreed with that.
I know you didn't, and I know Whitsitt didn't, and I know Weiss didn't. That's what I just got through saying. But yet Jaron claims that everybody who disagrees is a phoenix, which is a flat earther not including sun. which lumps you and Witsit and all into that group. So why isn't he making specific claims about you? Or why don't you or anybody else get upset? Because you admit you don't agree with it, correct?
Yeah, so? I don't get
So
what is your point?
to-
Am I supposed to be pissed off at Jaren?
Well, I don't know. Why wouldn't you be if somebody's calling you a
Because I don't give a
penis and
fuck what
retard?
Jaren says or believes. I don't care. And I've had people...
You don't care?
No, I don't care what Jaren
Okay.
says or believes. I have my own thoughts. I use my own brain and I form my own opinions about stuff. And if somebody wants to talk shit about me, I don't really give a shit about that either. People have been talking shit about me for the last 10 years. I just don't care. And why would I be pissed off at Jaren for having his own opinion? He can say whatever the fuck he wants. I just don't care. It's just stupid. Like, why am I required to be against somebody because you guys think, because you want me to? Like,
No, it's not because you guys want you to. It's because he's calling you a fucking retard and a penis and everything else. The same as everybody else he's been calling. I don't see how you don't get that. I don't understand.
I don't care. I don't care.
But it's not even that you don't care. You don't even address it. Neither does Witsit. Nobody addresses it, right?
What are we supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? You want me to sit here and make hit pieces on Jaren like everybody else does? And talk about this stupid drama shit constantly?
No, but don't you think it's very curious how you are lumped in with this group and yet nobody addresses it? Nobody says that. Why is Jaren going against Karen, his best friend, Witsit, right? And when he's claiming the same thing we're all claiming, and we're all being gaslit because of it and called retards. It's not just Jaren's opinion. That's all right, Karen. I just wanted to take a few minutes and express my opinion. You obviously,
right.
We don't agree on the same things. That's fine. But the fact of the matter remains that this is the end result, which many people knew was going to happen. I brought it up many months ago at Flattoberfest. And everybody was against me, and I said the same thing, and exactly what happened. So you can call me a fortune teller, you can make fun of me, whatever you want to do, that's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate your time. Thanks.
All right. Bye. I just, if Jaren wants to rant and say all kinds of shit, like, I don't care. I've literally had Jaren in my texts, like, trying to tear me a new asshole over shit privately. Like, I really don't... You have to have thick skin when you're dealing with this. I don't really care what his opinions are. Okay? I don't care if he wants to call everybody retarded. I call people retarded, too. Mostly because you are acting like fucking retards. Hi, DJ Curious. Good to see you. I know, like, why even... Yeah, he missed the beginning. I don't care anymore, wow. Hell, Ben. What did you miss? Oh my god, dude. People just... I don't know. Why do you care what Jaren says? Like, is Jaren's opinion defining your self-worth? If Jaren says you're a retard, are you gonna walk around and be like, man, Jaren said it was a retard. What am I gonna do with myself now? I'm just a stupid fucking retard because Jaren said so. Oh my god, dude. Alright, listen, I'm gonna get a coffee refill, and maybe, Witsit will call in. But let me go, get a warm up. I'll be right back. All right. CMG tunage. Well, I'll have to make a new break time. I'll have to add that in. I don't have it in here right now. I'm sorry. You should sample Karen's You're a Retard, You're a Retard. Feel free, conspiracy music guru. Mark Sargent has the best outlook and delivery on FE, and I loved his show. My new song entitled Retard will be out tomorrow. I don't know, man. Flat Earth can't explain the sky, and the globe can't explain the Earth. So, that's about where I'm at right now. You're fighting so hard for Jaren? I'm not fighting hard for Jaren. I'm just not attacking him. And I'm not agreeing with people who are attacking him. Do you see me making videos talking about... Do you see me... What do you mean I'm fighting for Jaren? Jesus. I mean, I guess you can consider it fighting for Jaren. I mean, whatever. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
What is up?
Hey, how's it going?
You know, it's going. Watching both the girls, so it's kind of intense. So yeah, just to answer this guy's like big home run question, but obviously for those who don't know, like the first big gotcha home run questions have been debunked, so now this is the new one. You know, he's been saying all the typical stuff until it was so ridiculous to say it that now he's moved to this new big home run, but. Yeah, I said I didn't want to vape on my camera. If you just watch the video, you see me like ducking and hiding and exhaling away from the camera. And it's the same reason, like you may occasionally hear me cuss in real life. Like I try not to even do that, but you're never really going to hear me cuss at all on my live stream because I get videos of people showing me their children dancing to my intro or like children or younger people maybe that could like try to, if they were to look up to me for any reason, I don't want them to see me like vaping on camera and think that that's cool or something to do or whatever, because it's not something that I would promote or suggest at all. So,
right.
I was just trying to keep it off the camera. Not to mention, I just think it looks trashy, so I wouldn't want it on my live stream. And he's saying that it's like this big contradiction that I knew that there were cameras everywhere. Dude, sifting through like 25 hours of 360 cameras and then catching where you see me and zooming in on me and seeing every little move I make to see if I ever hit a vape, it's totally different than like my live stream broadcast I'm showing to the world. Okay, those are completely different things. Like I thought I never even considered that, but I thought if I did consider it, I would have thought who's gonna look through it to see me vaping anyway. And if someone goes through that much effort, who cares? It's not like I'm truly trying to like lie to people about it. I'm just not going to promote it on my stream. And then he said, why did he lie about it? I never lied at all about vaping. The first time I was asked if I vaped in Antarctica, I said yes. And I explained it. And then last thing, now this is getting old, obviously, and then he says like, oh, if it was just the water, why didn't he just go grab some water and say, what's up now, like 5 times? You mean like where I'm drinking tea on the Owen Benjamin stream and you see my breath the entire stream? So like when I was first asked about it, I assumed because I knew I was so actively avoiding vaping anywhere close to the camera and like exhaling away from it, I just assumed that breath that was seen was because I went inside and drank some water. And then the water in Antarctica, they just boil water and they keep them in these little containers. Because if you want cold water, you just throw ice in it or snow in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't like keep cold water there. You just like get hot water and you can make it cold. So anyway, when you drink like hot water, just like when I was drinking the hot tea, or you warm up inside and then drink some warm beverage and go outside, you see your breath way more for the first couple minutes. So I just assumed that's what it was. And yeah, there you go. So no one's lying about anything, but it's all good. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else is up?
That's it. That's pretty much it. It's just, I don't know, man. It's really disheartening. It's like I just have been trying to stay offline, although I can't stay off as much as I'd want to. I'm just trying to avoid it all because I'm just so tired of seeing everybody say all the same, regurgitated nonsense.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, I guess I didn't realize a lot of these people were kind of in my corner per se, because I had no reason to like throw the scope on them, right? Like, I'm always getting this type of behavior from anti-flat earthers. So the slander you, be corrected, act like it never happened, just keep saying it anyway, make an accusation, ask for evidence of it, and then they just avoid it and start using like ad homs or nicknames. Like, this guy's calling me Darth Vapor in response to someone asking him for evidence to back up his claim. That's exactly what the anti-flat earthers do. They call me Word Salad Witsit or Witsit.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even say it, but all these different little nicknames, right? That's their way to avoid backing up their accusations. So it's just exactly the same behavior. Or if I take the time to address like I just addressed this guy's like big home run, and it's just stupid, and he'll just keep saying it more than likely, right? Like, that's what they do as well. If you catch them in another chat, they're saying the same thing as if it was never addressed or exposed. They just keep repeating it. So my point with all that is, I've always been like exposing them, right? Because they're pushing like this heliocentric globe deception on people and lying to do it. So I've always been exposing those people and trapping them and blah, blah, blah. Trapping them to expose themselves, but I've never like turned that scope back around me, like on my six. So I guess I kind of in a way have empathy for some people that are globers in a way, if they've been dealing with that same type of behavior just on this side, because clearly there is a group of people within this quote unquote FE community that acts that same way. So I look at that in that sense as kind of a blessing, right? Because now I know who those people are. In fact, I don't even have to look for them. They're just like raising their hands and making sure I know who they are. So yeah, I mean, that's my take. So that's kind of disheartening, but at the same time, not. Like, I'm like a quality over quantity person anyway.
Same.
Like, I don't care.
Same.
Yeah, for sure. People think they're so special because they found out that like water, like large bodies of water lay flat. Like, that doesn't make you better than someone. That doesn't make you, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, I think everyone should just keep their cool,
Yeah. Do you know when you're going on Candace Owens yet?
No, I still don't know the date for sure.
Okay.
He told me within a couple weeks of return, so that's 6th, I guess maybe around the 20th. Before the 20th, I guess. What is today, like the 13th? So
yeah.
Hopefully in the next week. Because once the date's settled, it'll probably just be a few days out from there. That's the way it was originally supposed to be. I don't know. Did you see what's going on with Candace Owens to start the year off? She is pregnant, yeah, but she did this whole story about the French president's quote unquote wife being a dude. And
oh yeah.
If you look into it, it totally is a dude, And they sent her a letter telling her to stop talking about it. So they responded directly. Yeah, so she may be kind of busy.
I saw her on Twitter responding to that, or X, or whatever it is. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I messaged Mark. I'm like, yikes, starting 2025 off with the bang. And then this other thing, let me address this other thing this guy said, which is just ignorant, right? He's like, we all know that you have to agree for someone to use your likeness in order for them to put all those pictures out of you and put you on mainstream articles. That isn't true at all. Are you kidding me? You think that all these hit pieces done by all these other people were approved,
Right, exactly. Once it's on YouTube, they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Yeah, you're agreeing that the world can see it and use it and do what they want with it. Like, it's a public broadcast. That's totally different than all the footage behind the scenes that they took of us, where we absolutely have to give them final cut and final edit approval, which is in the contract, which will be publicly available hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. Because like I said, I'm watching both the girls on myself right now, so it's kind of intense. But I'm making a whole site that has everything, including all the contracts and the freaking airline tickets and the passports and the behind the scenes communications about the contracts and the negotiations and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, people are going to feel kind of ignorant in a few days, but maybe deserved.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Anything else?
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, I love you. I got your back. Everyone should just be chill. I think even with the Jaron thing, Jaron just, he's being honest. He's saying he doesn't feel like he's in the position to teach flat earth if he doesn't understand it. Like, okay, I don't police people. Like, that's my friend. I don't try to police what he thinks. I was talking to him in person while he was thinking about everything and making all these decisions. I gave him my opinion, and I said, you know, I always think it's unwise to rush to things, but, you know, whatever. Like, I got his back in real life, so I'm not going to turn my back on him or turn my back on him while everyone's kicking him or kicking him while he's down. That's so stupid and gay to me. Like, I'm just not like that, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, we were different. Like, when I, quote unquote, teach flat earth what I do, I never claimed a model. In fact, when I used to be asked, where's your FE model? I'd say she's 7 weeks pregnant or whatever.
Yeah, you used to say it was your wife. It was cute.
Yeah. Yeah, so I made a point to never claim a model or a map, and I just tried to teach, like, here's the globe claim, here's the evidence against it, here's the pseudoscience, here's where it's been falsified, here's what we do know, like, here's the default empirical evidence that the Earth's stationary and topographical plane. So anyway, so this hasn't really affected me much, but I get why it would affect him, right? He didn't do that. He taught the concepts and answers from within that kind of model or map, and so if you rip that away, then he feels like, oh, well, he doesn't have too much to bring to the table. He has to figure that out first. So I think everyone should just actually respect. Ironically, also, I know people who are emotional. They should actually respect Jaron's honesty, kind of integrity in that sense, because if he really was a grifter or whatever, right, he'd just keep acting like he knew the whole time. He would be like these other people that realized the trip was going to happen and be like, every flat earth model predicts it or whatever, you know, but he's not like that. So.
No, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Well, all right.
And I got your guys' back.
Cool.
You know I love you guys, so.
I know, yes, and I appreciate you, and we will talk soon.
All right, take care.
All right, much love.
Hey. Yeah, man. It's just, some of us are actually friends in real life and actually talk behind the scenes. You know? This isn't like how it is in politics. Is Witsit rich? No, he's not rich. He's not rich. He's home watching babies. Kai's working. He makes money off of doing what he does with his YouTube and stuff and different things, but he's not rich. Trust me, none of us are rich. I don't know anybody who would still be here taking the barrage of insults and abuse and dealing with everybody's crap if they were rich and could afford to just go hide out. If I was rich, I'd be hiding out. You guys would never see me or hear from me, ever. I would disappear. I would be gone if I was rich. Like, just saying. You know, I don't think anybody would be sitting here taking all this crap on a daily basis if they were rich. It just doesn't make logical sense. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. It's Tony Coriolis.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hey, just chilling, had a couple thoughts, and yet again, I'll start off with my current Vapegate thought. So I've just still been listening to everyone talking about it, and there are some people who, for some reason, they're so convinced that, oh, no, he for sure vaped and faked his breath. But the thing to it is that they're all getting hung up on the malice of it, and that's where I think it has the least credibility. I think there is no way Austin would be, oh, I'm going to do this just to trick them, and they'll never know. That is such an unthought-out, logical claim that they're kind of thinking, saying it's for sure. The malice to it is so not there, and sure, that's just in my opinion, but I think it's very easy to see. So that's exactly where I'm sitting on it, and yeah, it's a nothing thing. In my books, whatever. I don't care if people want to keep on talking about it. It should die at some point. If it's still here, I mean, how long is this really going to go? This is crazy. But then I wanted to change the subject back to an old talking point that I had to you. Do you remember I said that this year Saturn is going to, like, the rings are going to be like a knife blade and it's not going to show the rings? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's coming up either next month or March. So just a heads up, because you said you're going to maybe try to get some shots like before and after.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Yes, I think that's interesting because I've only ever seen Saturn look like the eyeball.
Totally. And I just knew I was totally good. I'm a straight shooter. I knew I just had to remind you like before it. So I think perfect timing in regard to that. And then one last thing I wanted to say was how I said that in September we have a solar and a lunar eclipse, but are both not going to be visible from North America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found out you have that one, she's an astrologer, Erin Wagey, and she was in the chat a couple times past couple of weeks. I watched one of her videos. Turns out I totally missed in March. We have also a solar and a lunar eclipse in March. So March and September, 2 eclipses in each month. Yeah. And I heard that the March ones might be visible from North America. So yeah, just figured I'd bring that up here.
Okay, cool. We can check on that.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to go wolf down a cheeseburger now. Everyone have a great day. And yeah, just patient with it. Everyone stop tripping. But whatever, everyone can do whatever they want to do. I'm not tripping. Put that on the record.
Right on. Appreciate you, Tony.
All right. Peace out.
Later. Tony Coriolis tell Karen about the movie. Oh, hey, Aaron, the astrologer. Here is where you just move the goalpost anyway. That's a cool stamp. That is a cool Antarctica stamp. And people throwing shade on it. This isn't proof you were there. It doesn't prove it. All the video doesn't prove it. All your plane tickets doesn't prove it. All the eyewitnesses doesn't prove it. I know a woman who lived off-grid had to drive miles to collect her water from a spring. She's richer than all of us. Yeah. Hey, man, I agree. I am rich in love. I am rich in friends. I have wonderful, wonderful, beautiful people around me that live near me that I can hang out with. And we have lovely times together in real life. It's cool, man. It's cool. I really can't complain about my life. I really can't. I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful for all the wonderful people that I have in my life. That is a fact. And yes, if I was monetarily rich, of course, Richard, we would be going and having a killer meetup in Australia during Australian summertime so that I could have like a summertime vacay and get away from the cold, icy winter that I'm not a big fan of. This is what I don't get. Why would they use a 24-hour Antarctica sun as a final experiment if it wasn't real and needed to be faked? Precisely. Leo Slayer, that's a good question. Why would they use something as a final experiment that wasn't real and could possibly be debunked, like the moon landing? Plus, it's not an experiment. It's an observation. And you know what? I commented on Duffy's video. He did that video where he talks about Oh, we have the series. I don't know if you guys have watched it. I've watched some of the stuff because it's silly. We've made a series of these final experiments to prove that the Earth, and and he's talking about how all the globe predictions matched 100%, and all the FE predictions failed. Blah 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 blah. And he's talking about how they're going to keep doing more, a series. So that's not even going to be the last one. There's going to be a series of experiments to prove that the Earth is a globe. So I went and I commented under the video. I never even checked to see if I got a reply or not, but I was like, when are your experiments going to involve a direct measurement of Earth's surface? Karen would leave us. She was rich. Must be nice. Can I complain about your life? I mean, if you want to. If people don't believe all the evidence, maybe they should go see it for themselves, and they can claim they faked it. That's what I said, Fazook Films. I said, well, go then. If you think it was faked, go debunk it. As someone who appears to never miss a money-making opportunity, when will David Weiss come out with his 24-hour sun in December in Antarctica? Prove you're Karen? Yeah, right. It was authentic when we looked at the footage. It looks authentic to me too. All the many different views and different videos that seem to corroborate the other videos. I mean, it looks authentic to me. Karen is not the real Karen. Jaren obviously is an old robot, and Witsit is what you need him to be. What? Shoot the moon, the T has been split. I'm not a vapor. The final experiment app coming to iPhone. Is it really? I don't even know where my passport is right now. But why does my passport matter? I never went to Antarctica. My passport has Hungary and in it, and it's got London and Hungary, and the Netherlands is in my passport. Nothing to Antarctica though. They'll never stop talking about the final experiment. Why did Jaren pay for a free trip? He didn't pay for a free trip, but it did cost them money because they had to pay for some expenses out of their pocket. But as far as the Antarctica trip, that was paid for, as far as I know. So the trip wasn't free. It's that the Duffy guy paid for it. Antarctica only has unofficial novelty stamps. Look it up if you don't believe me. I'm sure most won't, though. It probably is a novelty stamp, you know? I think there's a novelty stamp for the North Pole, too, because I was looking into that. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. How's the coffee?
It's great.
It sounds like, how's the potatoes? If I was calling Patricia. Hey, have you had any wildfires in your area?
No.
No? Have you heard about wildfires in California?
Oh, yeah. I've been following the fires in California.
Yeah, I learned about the possibilities of, like, extreme weather, like, a couple days before, because I was following Texas, like, the Texas freeze that happened last week.
Mm-hmm.
And there was YouTubers calling for extreme wind gusts in LA area, like 3 days before the fires even started. Like they had like 70 miles an hour gusts, and like over there, like you get a bunch of wind gusts and hobos in the forest making campfires. Like there's going to be wildfires. So I think a lot of it was natural. Like there could have been foul players like starting their like catching their house on fire on purpose to get out of like their mortgage or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's like directed energy weapons or anything like that. I think that's all blown out of proportion.
Oh, yeah. So you don't think that if you have a blue roof, your house isn't going to burn?
I mean, it's weird seeing all these videos, but like you see these videos saying that they faked the final experiment in Antarctica. So it's like, what do we even believe anymore with these like hit piece videos? Like is Eric Dubay's video proof that they faked the final experiment? But like you get like one person and like this one blue car not burning or like a roof. I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, it could have just been a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't really buy the whole blue things don't burn. Actually, I was watching some reporter on the ground, doing a live interview from LA, and there was melted blue garbage cans on the ground, right where the reporter was talking. They were all melted. So it was like,
right.
So, you know, and then in another picture, somebody's like, oh, look, there's a garbage can knocked over on the ground and it wasn't melted and the houses were burnt down. You know, so it's like, well, I don't really know what the situation is there, but one garbage can that doesn't melt is negated by the 2 or 3 other garbage cans that I saw melted on the Pacific Coast Highway video of that one person doing interviews. You know, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then like with these cars, they're like, oh, the aluminum melted. Like I've seen cars on the side of the road like that were burned, and like the county doesn't clean it up. Like the highway, like they don't clean it up instantly. Like sometimes like a car will sit on the side of the road of a highway for like 7 days and not get towed. So like, but I've seen them burnt, like badly burnt vehicles, and they look like they do over there, like after a wildfire or whatever. Like they're just like completely incinerated. So,
yeah.
It's weird, like, cause like a lot of them are like, oh, look, the tires melted and stuff. It's like, how does the fire get that hot? And it's like, well, I've seen them on the side of the road looking like the exact same thing.
Well, aluminum has a low melting point too.
Yeah, I forget what they say about the tires or something, but there's like something about like how they're like, oh, this is way too intense. But it seems natural to me. Like when like just amateur weather reporters are calling for extreme fire hazards, and then 2 days later when like the wind conditions happen, like there's all these fires over there. Like there was a fire in Malibu like 3 weeks ago that no one reported on, just because it was kind of isolated, but it was a huge fire for Malibu.
Yeah, that's right. They had a fire in December.
Yeah, they even like name it. Like they name the wildfire like it's a hurricane. It's crazy. But as referencing the final experiment, like it technically is an experiment because they used the sun as like a reference point. And so when you see it in California, like Jaron did, and you just use the sun as a reference point, and then you continue south, you go to the southern hemisphere to wherever San Fuentado or something, whatever they went to, and they see the sun again. Then they can make a hypothesis, like if they keep going south, like what's the sun gonna do? So like then they went further south, and they just use the sun as a reference point, just kind of like the North Star is a reference point. Like they're not saying because the sun is doing a loop that the Earth is round. They're just using the sun as a reference point and just following the sun. To where like someone in Australia could have done the same thing, or the UK or Asia, and saw the sun and saw how it just floats over the like southern horizon, and just keep going south. And then when you get to Australia, you'll see it kind of arc over your head and make kind of a loop. Then if you like extrapolate or form a hypothesis, like, well, what if I keep going south? And then you may see it like circle you. Then you're like, okay, but like, what if I keep going south? Like you can kind of circumnavigate north-south or south-north, whatever. Just as a reference point. Like they could do it in December. There's no south star like Polaris. Polaris is really neat because it's like the brightest star in the sky, and you can easily identify it.
It's not the brightest star in the sky. It's just the one that has the most stationary position.
Really?
Yeah, it's not the brightest. I think it's like, was it Sirius or something is the brightest star in the sky. There's actually a lot of stars that are brighter than the North Pole star.
Did you say Sirius?
Mm-hmm.
That's like another name for Polaris?
Well, I might be wrong about the name of the star.
Ooh, speaking of moons, are you going to look at the moon tonight?
Why? Is there something special going on?
Yeah, Mars is going to eclipse it. I think if you're in Eastern time zone, it's around like 6:50. That's like pretty close to sundown. Like you'll see Mars go behind it and do an eclipse for an hour. It's supposed to be pretty neat.
Sirius. The brightest, yeah, it is. No, Sirius is the brightest star in the sky. Its name is derived from the Greek word blah, meaning glowing or scorching. And it is in the constellation Canis Majoris. So Sirius is...
So Sirius isn't Polaris?
No.
Huh.
Actually,
I don't know why I
and
thought they were the
that
same
star,
thing.
it says, is in the southern celestial hemisphere.
Oh, so we can't even see it.
So it's, well, you can. It's just south of the... That just means it's south of the equator, not north of the equator.
Well then, isn't it in the Truman Show like the Sirius fell or something, like the skylight called Sirius?
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't know. I'm a horrible researcher, but yeah. And then like, there's also supposed to be like a really big green comet or something. So like, I was trying to research if like the full moon produces shadows. And then all this like full moon on the 13th, Mars is eclipsing. It's supposed to be like happens like once every like very few often, like thousands of years or something like that. It's supposed to be a big moment for Mars.
So the moon is eclipsing Mars tonight.
Yep.
That's
for an
interesting.
hour.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I asked Austin, and he already knew about it. Well, not Austin Thompson, Melodome, I guess I should say. A lot of people have the same names.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm filming it. I'm taking all my equipment to work so I can go outside and see it. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I thought like it's kind of weird. Like if the full moon produces shadows, can people do sticks and shadow experiments and like measure the distance to the moon? And I'm curious, like, is the shadows going to be 400 times smaller and 400 times like, I don't know. But I'm sure they're going to say, well, it's the light's reflection and it's the same light from the sun, so the shadows are going to be the same but there's no research that I can find that people are, because the full moon produces shadows, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
right?
Actually I did that the same way that you can measure the angle of elevation for the sun with shadows. I did that with a full moon before.
Oh, you've done it?
Yeah.
Did you make a video on it?
No.
Oh,
I didn't. I just did it. I did not make a video about it though.
That's my research. I just go on Google and YouTube and type in like if anyone's done it. So I couldn't find anything in all this stuff about Mars. But yep, I'll let you go. Enjoy your coffee. Do you make your coffee in a cauldron?
No. How would you do that?
I think because like people could do like fresh pour, like they pour their like hot water over their coffee in a screen.
Oh, okay.
You could just do like a
Not
big
like a
5
French
gallon.
press.
Yeah, French press into a cauldron. Alrighty, take it easy.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. That's pretty funny. So let's see. Pause. I'm gonna go fast forward. Hours. See if I can figure out what time that will be happening for me and if I can stay up that late. Very serious. Okay, here we go. Moon and the Mars. Let's see. So, this is late. I'm probably gonna be in bed. So right here, let's see, what's 4 hours before midnight? 8 o'clock? Oh, maybe I can do it. Okay, well, if it's only going to be 8 or 9, I can probably do it then. But I was going to be like in the middle of the night. There's no way. P. Diddy mansion burned down. Is that true? City folks stuck on highway have no clue vehicles can go into the grass and still drive if it's not muddy. Oh, I know. State Farm Insurance canceled policies. Yeah, I know. They did that. Actually, they did that to my mom because my mom lives in California and her. Oh, thank you, Aaron. 7:45 to 7 p.m. Pacific. So 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10:45. This is from my location, from Earl. Yeah, so they canceled everybody's fire insurance and they're making people get what's called a fair plan or something. And it's way more expensive than the previous insurance people held. And it's required. It's really a scam. 9, you can do it, Karen. I'm in Eastern. 3/4 of those cars probably 4x4 and didn't go off-road, yeah. Trump goes on Rogan warning California is susceptible to fire because of poor management. Then giant fires right before he gets in office prove he was right. Convenient. I know. No, the moon wasn't visible in Antarctica when they were there. It was too far north. The moon was actually north of the equator. So, like, whenever Duffy was saying he was going to be the first one or whatever, he was full of doo-doo. Also, this picture where Duffy shares him and Jaren, this is Chilean money. This is like pesos. Yeah, exactly. It's probably like $50 or something. I don't know. I don't know what the conversion rate is for the Chilean money. Where's the one where he South Celestial Pole upcoming? What's this? So they're gonna do all this stuff to prove the globe, but it's all gonna be sky observations. None of it is gonna be direct measurements of the Earth. Look, when will your experiments involve taking a direct measurement of Earth's surface for curvature? Dude, this is the first of 15 experiments. Wait a few weeks, right? How about this? Go and audit a land surveying course at any major university. You will get to use all the tools and equipment. Oh, blah, 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 whatever. Everyone just needs to stop listening to Eric Bidet. That's funny. Eric Bidet. That's funny. Hi, Liz. Yeah, they are different stars completely. But he put out a video, but he didn't take it. Another guy did, and it was from a while ago. It wasn't from this year. So there's that.
Hi there, if you want, I can take grab one of those bags so you have a hand free.
So this is that producer guy, Mark Herman's video.
Is David around? He is probably not. You have mine. Okay. You're welcome to come over here, kind of thing. Yeah.
So you can scroll around. There's Austin, there's Jaron. So here's what we need to do. Here's what the final experiment needs to do. Be careful talking about Doobie. He will make a video saying you're a man and Ted's an actor. I don't give a shit. I've been saying fuck Eric Dubé for years, and he hasn't made any videos about me. So, whatever. I mean, he already called me a shill like 6 months after I made my very first video in 2017. And that's when I officially stopped giving a crap about anything Eric Dubé said or did. Not that I was very impressed to begin with, because the very first video I saw of Eric, he was dressed like a chick and he was like making fun of Patricia. And I didn't even know who the hell Patricia was at that time. And I was like, you know, just barely getting into Flat Earth, like watching any video I could to try to, you know, whatever. It was very early, so there wasn't very much content. So at that time, it was like you pretty much watched everything that everybody put out, and it was easy to do. And you'd be waiting for more content to come out because there was so little content coming out at that time. And there's Eric Dubé wearing like a freaking curtain and a headband and looking like a moron, trying to make fun of Patricia. Like, I was just like, when I watched that video, I was like, what am I watching? I was like, am I being fooled by a bunch of internet retards? Like, am I being suckered by a bunch of, you know, what is this nonsense, right? Because, like, how do you take it seriously? It just out of context, if that's the first thing you see, how do you even take it seriously? So anyway, whatever. Soy content. She's actually a melted brick building. It was just... Why anybody cares what that guy says is beyond me. Anyway, What was I talking about before I got distracted with that thought? God dang it, man. Oh, here's what the final experiment needs to do. Mr. Moneybags Will Duffy, if you're listening, here's what you need to do. You need to have two separate groups. Organize two separate groups of travelers. One group of travelers will go to Antarctica via Australia and McMurdo Base. The other group can do the same thing you guys did here. In fact, you guys should have done this the first time. If you really wanted to make it final, this is what you should have done. You should have had, so you have two groups. One group of flattened globe that comes from Australia through McMurdo, and they go to McMurdo Base. Then you have the other group, which goes through South America to the Union Glacier Camp, like this, right? And they're traveling at the same time, and they both at the same time schedule rendezvous at the South Pole, 90 degrees south, right? At the same time, one side coming from Australia and the other side coming from South America. And then everybody meets up at the same time, verifying that they came from different parts of Antarctica. That's what they should have done. Lord Racer, you know, you want to bring up that chick? She's a stupid, like, that, she was a horrible human being. Horrible human being. I don't even want to get into it, but we stopped being friends a long time ago, and she's lucky I didn't beat her ass on the way out. I mean, talk about a disgusting people. That is one of the first, that's one of the, that long ago, that was one of my many lessons where just because you know the earth is flat doesn't make you a good person. And I can't tell you, I got slapped with that lesson time after time after time. Just because somebody says they're a flat earther doesn't mean that they're a good person. It doesn't mean that they tell the truth. It doesn't mean that they're honest. It doesn't mean shit. Just saying. Should have done a high altitude balloon in Antarctica. That would have been done. Nah, I guess you could have done that too. Africa, Australia, Chile meet at the same time at the pole, then lick it. Yeah, Effie Viking, right? I don't know if there's a way. I don't know if there's a way to get to the South Pole from Africa, because Africa to Antarctica is a much longer trip than it is from Australia or from South America, because Africa doesn't go as far south in the latitude as the other continents do. So honestly, I couldn't even really find a service that takes you to the pole from Africa. You have to go. The only two places where I could see is it's in off of McMurdo, and then the other way from South America through Punta Arenas. So that's it. But if you take the two trips and you go separately at the same time, and then you meet at the South Pole, that would be very compelling. It means at least it just means they are a flat earther, and that's it. Exactly. It doesn't. Or, yeah, it would be cool to do from all three places. I agree, but I wasn't able to find one that went to the pole from Africa, which is kind of shady too, right? Like it should be. You should be able to get there that way, but also it's a farther distance and probably not as easy to do. Excuse me. But because like that website that I was looking at the other day, the one with the Antarctica one. I can't remember how to pull it up now, but we were looking at it, and the guy maps out all the stations. And you know what's interesting too? Another interesting thing is that there's a bunch of stations around the edge of Antarctica, but there's not a whole bunch in the North Pole. There was only one. I was looking at one going to the North Pole, and you have to get there from Svalbard, Norway. Although they were saying that they couldn't right now because of the war in Ukraine. It's not accessible. It's only accessible through Russia. So it's like you can't even get to the North Pole except through like Russia or Norway, which is weird. Why couldn't you get there from Greenland or something, you know? I don't know. There's still more investigations that could be done. The stupid TFE happened and they saw what they saw, it was real, but it doesn't mean what Duffy claims. I don't know what it means because I don't understand this guy. Who does? No one, yeah. Sometimes the North Pole is just water. Well, you know what they were saying? So there's this camp. Borneo camp. Okay, so I was looking at this. Borneo Ice Camp is a Swiss-owned, Swiss-operated drift. So this camp is basically on a giant ice pack that moves. It moves, and so they have to, which blows my mind. They said it can move several miles in a day, and you won't feel it move, but it's moving. Because it's just a big giant ice pack that's floating on the water. And it has this runway, and they use this plane to fly people to this camp, and then from this camp you take a helicopter to 90 degrees north to the North Pole. And it costs just as much to take this trip as it does to take the Antarctica trip, I do believe. What is this? What is that? Got like a rhino head on there. So it says Borneo is a seasonal camp set up in late March every year, only through a highly complex and technical series of logistics incorporating Ilyushin 76, Anatov 74, and M18 flights from Moscow and Siberia, parachute and skydiver drops, specialist advisors and observers, and temporary camps on the Arctic Ocean. Once the ice runway has been prepared using tractors parachuted onto the ice, technical AN-74 flights deliver the camp infrastructure, and Borneo usually opens its doors to the first passenger flight around April 4th. So it's kind of a trip. So, and here they said you don't need a passport to go to the North Pole, but they have, just like in Antarctica, they do have the novelty passport stamps that you can get. I was reading on another page. I forget where it was that I was watching, where I was looking at that, but I did see where they have little commemorative pole stamps. But, you know, it's not like these places are really easy to get to, you know? You can't hitchhike to the North Pole. You can't hitchhike to the South Pole or to Antarctica. So, you know, in that regard, there's really not a whole lot of need for official passport facilities and stamps. Is there 24-hour darkness in Antarctica in the winter months? Yes. Yes, it's just as difficult to go that far north. It's crazy because because the camp moves. It's like it's a camp on a floating ice pack. It's kind of a trip, actually. Let me see. was I looking at? So this one too is like they have different levels because they do skiing where you can ski to the North Pole, and you do like this where you bring a little sled behind you and you like cross country ski to the pole. So they have different ones where you have different levels of difficulty. So if you want to be like a super Arctic explorer, then they have this 60-day long thing, right? Meet in Resolute Bay, Canada, transfer from airport to hotel outside Resolute Bay, charter flight to Eureka Weather Station, and then on to Ward Hunt Island. Depart Ward Hunt Island onto the pack ice, begin skiing towards North Pole. So from day 8 to day 57, you're basically ice camping and skiing. Ski across the dynamic pack ice of the Arctic Ocean towards the North Pole. Upon reaching the North Pole, you'll have time to celebrate this monumental achievement. Helicopter from North Pole to Borneo Ice Station, and then fly via charter air to Norway, and then from Norway you go home. And if you are not physically capable of doing that, because they tell you there you have to be experienced, it's you know, it's not an easy thing to do, blah blah blah. So they also have these flights. They have these trips where you could just take a flight. But I don't know if it was from the same group. High intensity, so they have this one, Ski the Last Degree, high intensity but relatively short duration journey across the frozen Arctic, ski to the last degree, the North Pole. So, I don't know. No ski for me, right? There's other ones where you take that plane that I was just showing you. Let's see, trips, north. Yeah, ski or fly. So you can ski, and if you don't want to spend 60 days, 2 months on the ice, then you can just they use this plane and they fly you to that ice camp once it's set up, the Borneo ice camp, and then from there you take a helicopter to the North Pole and you hang out, it says from like 45 minutes to up to 2 hours, taking pictures, doing whatever. They have like they pretty much try to let you do whatever you want to do at the pole, like people have gotten married, blah blah blah. Anyway, I would want a true expedition to the North Pole. No familiar with one I trust. Come on, Will Duffy set it up. Looks like a rhino. Yeah. Why should I have to fly to Australia? It's not a further distance if you live in Africa. Well, I'm not sure. Can you get to Antarctica from South Africa? How to get to Antarctica from Cape Town, South Africa. There are several ways to reach Antarctica, the most popular of which is to cross the Drake Passage from Ushuaia in southern Argentina. Other possibilities include flying in from Punta Arenas, Chile, or booking a cruise from New Zealand or Australia. In the past, research ships have embarked on Antarctic expeditions from both Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, but as yet there are no regular Antarctic cruises scheduled for departure from South Africa. However, for those with a considerable budget, South Africa does offer one option for tourist travel to the end of the earth, White Desert. Luxury tour operator White Desert prides itself on being the only company in the world to fly into the Antarctic interior via private jet. Set up by a group of explorers who traversed the continent on foot in 2004, the company offers 4 different Antarctic itineraries. All of the flights depart from Cape Town and touch down approximately 5 hours later inside the Antarctic Circle. They are based at White Desert's known luxury Witchaway Camp, which is entirely carbon neutral. It is a masterpiece of old world luxury inspired by early Victorian explorers and includes 7 spacious sleeping pods, a lounge and dining room, and a gourmet kitchen staffed by an award-winning chef. The White Desert itineraries include Emperors and the South Pole. This 8-day itinerary takes you from Cape Town to White Desert's Witchaway Camp. From here, you'll embark on daily activities ranging from ice tunnel treks to scientific research-based visits. You can learn survival skills like abseiling and ice climbing, or you can simply relax and absorb the breathtaking beauty of your surroundings. Highlights include a 2-hour flight to the Emperor Penguin Colony at Atka Bay, where penguins are so unused to human contact that they allow visitors to come within a few feet, and a flight to the lowest place on Earth, the South Pole. So you can get to the South Pole from South Africa, allegedly. So then I wonder if you can then schedule 3 different groups, and they all go from 3 different ways, and they all rendezvous at the South Pole at the same time. So, Geared towards those with limited time and an infinite budget, the Greatest Day itinerary lets you experience the wonder and remoteness of the Antarctic interior in just one day. After a 5-hour flight from Cape Town, you can choose to board a smaller propeller plane for a scenic flight right across the ice on a fat bike, or join a 4x4 excursion. At the end of the day, you'll hike to the top of the ridge above the camp for unrivaled views of the surrounding landscape and a champagne picnic. Your drink will be chilled with blocks of 1,000-year-old glacial ice. Okay. So let's go check out... Wait, no, what did I want to see? White Desert, that's the company. Actually, White Desert, I was watching a video from White Desert when I was looking at this stuff offline. Okay, so adventures. With only 12 guests on each departure, we tailor the experience to be as relaxed or as adrenaline-fueled as you wish. South Pole and Emperors. From $105,000. Oof. Best of both. We're offering a chance to experience both our camps, Witchaway and Echo, in a single 8-day journey. Luxury camp, no specific fitness level, private charter. So that one's $105,000. "24 Days Ultimate Antarctica, $2 million plus. This bespoke adventure allows you to experience the very best of the interior of Antarctica and the Antarctic Peninsula in the greatest comfort. Private charter, exclusive use for up to 12 guests, geographic South Pole visit, Emperor Penguin Colony visit." Does the other one say geographic South Pole? This luxury adventure takes you into the heart of Antarctica to the Emperor Penguins. South Africa to Antarctica. The geographic South Pole. Over $100,000 a person. Oof. Come on, Duffy. You're a millionaire. You could do it. You could do it. You could afford it. Dinner talk? Jaren had some good advice. Maybe we all need to take a year off and regroup. Find a group of good research, 10 or 15 people we are willing to gather together and problem solve, experiment. Yeah. Hey man, I ain't no rush. $2 million, just a cup of coffee, no problem. Yeah, exactly. I know. So, that's interesting, isn't it? And then they got the fat biking. Like you saw Jaren riding around on the fat bike on his video. Wow, $100,000 to get to the South Pole from Africa. Are these the only ones doing it? Let me see. They use a private jet. Antarctic cruises. Can you go to Antarctica? Yes, here's how to visit. Do you need permission to go to Antarctica? Citizens of many countries do indeed need permission to travel to Antarctica. Specifically, travelers living in countries that are party to the 59 Antarctic Treaty, which originally included a dozen signatories and now counts 56, must have a permit. That was established in the early 1990s with the adoption of the Protocol of the Environment Protection Act, the Antarctic Treaty. This includes those coming to Antarctica, for example, the United States, Canada, China, Australia, and Germany. In nearly all cases, your permit is taken care of by the tour operator you are going through, so it's basically a non-issue unless you're undertaking an independent expedition to Antarctica, not an especially common route, needless to say. Can you go to Antarctica without permission? Technically, you might be able to if you reside in one of the non-signatory countries, but probably only if you get yourself to the White Continent. If you're signing onto a cruise or a flight operated out of a signatory nation, you will likely need a permit regardless of your citizenship. So if somebody goes and becomes a resident of a non-signatory country, technically you can go to the Antarctic then without special permission. You will need a valid passport to travel to Antarctica, but because Antarctica belongs to no country, you don't need a visa to travel there per se. However, any country you do pass through to get to Antarctica, such as Chile, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, may require a visa depending on your country of origin. The fabled oceanic frontier between South America's Cape Horn and Antarctica. This usually takes anywhere from a day and a half to 3 days to cross. Da-da-da-da. from Canada, UK and Europe. They all tell you to go to Punta Arenas and Ushuaia. Alternatively, you may avoid going to via South America altogether. You might choose to cruise directly from Oceania, as a handful of cruises depart each season from Hobart in Tasmania, approximately 7 days to reach Antarctica, or Invercargill or Dunedin, New Zealand. There are flights to Hobart from Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, and Australia, and flights to Invercargill in Dunedin from Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, or New Zealand, respectively. Alternatively, for those that are content with only seeing Antarctica from above for a few hours, there are also infrequent round-trip flight observation options available. How to get to Antarctica from South Africa. Getting to Ushuaia, getting to Punta Arenas, getting to Antarctica directly. Okay. Research ships have embarked upon expeditions from both Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, but currently there are no regular Antarctic cruises scheduled to depart from South Africa. However, if you have the money, you may avoid going to via South America and consider flying direct to Antarctica from Cape Town by exclusive private jet. Is that the only way? Wolf's Fang Runway. It's Antarctica from South Africa. You get to experience the real interior of Antarctica in a single day and actually land at Wolf's Fang Runway, spending a few hours hiking, biking, picnicking on the ice before your return flight. Dear to dear. Well, there you go. I mean, I bet you would disappear. You'd have to build a pirate ship and show up without being discovered, and I bet you disappear. Yeah, I think it would be difficult to do, but I mean, according to this, technically you should be able to, but who knows? Hey, Mark Sargent. What did I miss? Anything exciting? Stephen Carpenter messaged me yesterday. Has not been affected by the fires, hoping for the best with his friends in LA. Yeah, I sent Stephen a text a couple days ago. I think it was like on the second day of the fires, just to make sure. Because I was pretty sure he wasn't where the fires were, but I sent a message. I was just like, thinking about you. Hope you guys are okay. And he said he was okay. And then ever since I've been paying attention to the fires, and he's right there by Long Beach, and so it hasn't gotten that far to him yet. So I think he'll be okay. So anyway, this is what I propose for the final experiment. Get 3 different groups. One leaves from Africa, one leaves from Australia, and one leaves from South America. And everybody goes and rendezvous at the South Pole, the geographic South Pole, from those 3 respective locations at the same time. If you guys can do that, well, that would be pretty compelling evidence that the Earth is a ball. Why would anyone live in California? I won't even drive a truck out that way. Well, I lived in California for a long time, but it just got too expensive and crazy, and I couldn't really stand it anymore. Can't even afford to live there. You're so busy working trying to afford it that you can't even spend the time to enjoy where it is you live. I mean, at least that's where the position I was in. And it's just not fun. It just became not fun anymore. And also, the Atlantic Ocean is warmer than the Pacific, so it's actually more pleasant to swim in the Atlantic than it is to swim in the Pacific, which I grew up doing. I grew up swimming in the Pacific off of Northern California. It's cold. And, you know, I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. But coming out here and going to the Atlantic and that water, getting in the water, it's like warm. It's so nice. Yeah. It's very obvious that all the trips to Antarctica goes to military-controlled locations, like how there was military planes next to the Union Glacier and their movement restricted by flags and crevasses. Well, I mean, if they did fall in a crevasse, that would be bad. They could die. You know? So, I don't know. Swimming in the North Sea. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to wrap it up. It's been lovely spending this fine moon day with all of you lovely people. I could not get over the difference in water temperature grew up going to Myrtle Beach and Charleston. Yeah. The friction experiment. Yeah. The Gulf of America. Water would still be flat. Yeah. All right. Hey, Beth. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, you know, and, you know, don't take everything so seriously. Don't forget to enjoy life. Don't forget to laugh. Don't forget to eat good food. Hang out with your friends. Enjoy your family. And, yeah. That's about it. That's all I got for right now. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll see you soon. Bye. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.